a bad start. 21 points up for the Nifty and 30 points up for the Sensex. Sensex 44 points up, 20 points for the Nifty. Okay, now things are looking random once again. 47 points up for the Sensex and 22 points for the Nifty, still 48 points up for the Sensex. State Bank of India, you will start with State Bank of India. State Bank of India on Tuesday appreciated by about 40 rupees plus. Okay, you had a wild rate on State Bank of India, and that is really disturbing the Sensex and the Nifty. So I guess the current rates are meaningless. If State Bank of India will not stabilize, I don't think you can refer to those pre-open rates. Mitesh, SBI, we discussed that stock on a daily basis, but do you think State Bank of India is the lead indicator of market action and market mood?
It's certainly been for last few days. I think, we've had a positive bias on State Bank of India, and we're looking at targets of about 2110 to about 2130, which were also tested yesterday. I think that's the important range, for the stock price, 2120 to about 2150 on the upside. If that has not been clear, I think the stock would again, be in this range of 1950 to about 2150 on the upside. But my sense is that there's a good chance that we might actually see a breakout happening on the upside. Also is the fact that, after the numbers have come in, I think this is the stock which has kind of not only been pulling up the other banking stock, but also been contributing nicely to the rise of bank index. So in the short term, yes, I think it's a lead indicator for the markets to watch at.
Okay, watch out for some other names as well, which are going to see some movement today. Like we've been pointing out, watch out for what Gujarat Pipavav, Lanco as well as Fortis do in trade today. Ashwini, a quick call on GVK as well as on Lanco.
No, I think these stocks are getting ready for some sort of trading rally. GVK is moving sideways between 11 and 13 now. We need to cross 13 to have some kind of a rally towards 16. When stocks reach such abysmal levels where market cap is almost getting closer to zero, you need to probably avoid such stocks, because a penny stock generally becomes only goes lower in value. I've very seldom seen an 11 rupee stock going back and becoming a 120 rupee stock. Similar are the levels for Lanco, between 11 and 13. If we cross 13, maybe in a good market you'll get 16, 17.
Avinash, for some of these asset owners, one side is the opportunity, other side is the price action. GVK currently runs and operates and owns two airports in India. They have exposure to the power business. They also own some important real estate parcels, and they also have ownership and majority ownership in some important road projects. If the asset ownership is so strong, why are these stocks underperforming?
Nikunj, I think clearly on the asset ownership part, they definitely hold a very strong asset portfolio. But if you look at the cash flow and the kind of earnings which the market is perceiving, I think most of these companies would, be looking at positive earnings numbers only over the next 2 to 3 years. So I think it's a long-term call. It's not that these stocks don't have a bright future, but in the current scenario, I think people are completely ignoring the asset quality on their balance sheets. I think in the near term, what really matters is, the sentiment of FIIs as well as the large investors towards these stocks. Clearly, as Ashwini was saying, the stocks have come off from a pretty high level to, have been beaten down. So clearly for interest to come in, from a fundamental perspective, will take some time. Somebody who wants to actually build a portfolio and keep it for say 2 to 3 years, this would not be a wrong idea to actually bet on a stock like GVK, because as you rightly said, the asset portfolio is very strong, but currently the sentiment is negative. So clearly in the near term, I don't see any big upside for these stocks, but in the longer term, they could, prove to be good multi-baggers.
Okay, let's bring in Manisha as well then to talk about which way the currency is going to be headed today. Some strength seen this morning. 55.41 I think was the opening tick on the INR. Manisha.
Well, thank you for that, Aisha. We opened 0.25% on the higher side. It's trading 0.5% on the higher side at this point in time. So strength continues for a third straight day. In last couple of sessions, we've seen 55.25 as an important support that the rupee has been taken. The international cues are stronger. The Asian currencies are also on the higher side, and that really seems to be supportive. The dollar index at around 1 week lows also has led to some support in the Indian rupee. We spoke to First Strand Bank today in the morning, and they say that 56.40 on the higher side is a very strong resistance now. On the lower side, Watch out for levels like 55, even 54.80 in coming 1 week.
All right, Manisha, thanks for that. To pick up all the dealing room chatter, let's go to Darshan.
Nikunj, the first stock that they're talking about is Mahindra and Mahindra. Now, CLSA has come out with a report on M&M today. They have actually gone ahead and upgraded the rating of the counter from underperform to an outperform, and the target price is 770, and they have actually gone ahead and even raised the EPS estimates for next year. What they're saying is pricing power is still there with the company as far as the XUV 500 is concerned. The next counter that they are talking about is HUL. Couple of these institutional desks have indicated that a couple of their clients have actually gone ahead with shorting orders on HUL, both on a fund side as well as, technically the stock looks very, very weak. So sub 400 is something that they see the counter going on in the next few days. And the last counter that they are talking about is United Spirits. So what we hear is one of the top 3 domestic funds is actively accumulating United Spirits at every lower level. They expect some positive announcement to come in as far as United Spirits is concerned. So 620 to 630 in the short term is something that dealers are seeing as far as this counter is concerned.
All right, Darshan, thanks for that. Avinash, given the way how crude has cracked in the month of May and in the month of June, it's down by about 20% from the recent high. Is there a trade in airline stocks? Is there a trade in OMCs?
I think in the OMC pack, definitely BPCL continues to look good, Nikunj. I think clearly, not only from the operational numbers, I think they've also given a 1:1 bonus, and most importantly, within the other OMCs, I think in terms of the earnings growth trajectory, I think BPCL stands to gain the most. As far as airline stocks are concerned, Nikunj, I would still like to stay away from them for the simple reason that, cash flows are still under pressure, and with the rupee having depreciated, I think clearly until and unless, debt on these balance sheets reduces and the forex impacts actually minimizes, I think it would be still be a good idea to keep away, from stocks like say SpiceJet, Kingfisher, and maybe a Jet.
Ashwini, which airline stock is worth a punt?
Well, as I've been saying that Jet Airways, if you get it around 280 to 300, it generally bounces from those levels. So we just went below 300 a few days back, and from there we had a sharp bounce back towards levels of 320, 321. Whenever the market reverses, chances are that Jet will have a sharp reversal. But we need to avoid buying it after it has a few good days. Generally, these stocks have several bad days and then several good days. Try to buy it after 3 or 4 real bad days.
We've been talking about as to how there's likely to be traction in Unilever, United Spirits, as well as M&M. So these are the 3 stocks that dealing rooms are talking about this morning. Mitesh, how about Unilever and United Spirits? What are you seeing on the charts there?
I've been negative on the FMCG space for a few days to come. Unilever was a constant sell around the 425 odd level, and we had discussed this a couple of times then also. I think both Unilever, ITC, as well as even Colgate, you can count that in, I think are going through a corrective phase. While there's some support for Unilever at about 404, 405, I think there's a good chance that 390, 385 could be tested over here. Similarly, ITC, I think, is completing a mega pullback to levels of 219 to about 215 on the downside. And Colgate has also gone into corrective mode. The other one is United Spirits. I think that's a stock which has been sideways and broken down again, has turned sideways for the last couple of days. If it crosses 600, you might see some kind of positive traction coming over here, or else the stock will do this range of about 595 to 555 on the downside.
Right. Final question, Avinash. Some money making ideas. One from the large cap space, one from the mid cap space, and one from the small cap space.
Nikunj, from the large cap space, we like a stock called MCX. I think clearly in terms of the business model and in terms of the kind of trajectory we are seeing on the exchange business, I would not be surprised that over the next 1 year, this stock could possibly be trading at around 1150, 1200. Very good numbers and a very good cash position on the balance sheet. So I think MCX from the large cap side. From the small cap side, we like a company called Swaraj Engines. Company primarily supplies engines to Mahindra and Mahindra and is now trading below 400 rupees. A very strong balance sheet, a very small equity of 12.5 crores. and earnings numbers have been pretty good. The company has been paying a very good dividend over the last 3 to 4 years. So I think clearly both from a dividend as well as from a bonus perspective, this company can actually announce a good surprise in FY13. So here also probably a price of 500 plus is very much possible over the next 12 months.
All right, Avinash, thanks for your insights and thank you for accommodating this interview request. Let me now bring on board Vetri Subramaniam, Chief Investment Officer with Reliance Mutual Funds. Vetri, morning and thank you for joining us. Vetri, for someone who has seen many bull and bear market cycles, what is the current market environment reminding you of 1992, 1998 or 2003?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in the past, and I think we are somewhere in the midst of fairly sort of prolonged slowdown. So it's very similar through the kind of period that we saw in the late 90s, I would say, particularly during the 96-2000 period. If you recollect, that was a time where the RBI actually first hiked rates quite aggressively to slow down the economy. We were battling inflation problems at that point as well. And then in 97 and 98, we had the added complication that we had the Asian crisis at that point of time, and that threw in a whole new set of variables into the equation and essentially ended up prolonging the slowdown quite a bit. So in that sense, we are pretty much in a similar situation. We've had the economy slow down, global factors have not helped, and we've got the EU sovereign debt crisis as opposed to the Asian crisis, which is hampering things at a global level. So it is a tough environment, and it's going to be a sort of prolonged phase. We've been in it a while, but there are no easy ways out, and I think it will persist a while longer.
Okay, Vetri, hold on to that thought. Lots more to chat about with you, but I'm going to just quickly recap the trading ideas coming in this morning from our technical experts. Here's what Ashwini Gujral is recommending this morning. He's got a buy call on McLeod Russell, PF Utilities, Hero MotoCorp as well is a buy call, and 3 sell calls on ITC, Ranbaxy as well as Tata Motors. Mitesh Thakkar, McLeod Russell, a buy call for him as well. PF Utilities 2 is a stock that he likes. He's got a buy on DCB as well and a sell call on Apollo Tyres as well as Godrej Industries. Sandeep Agle, and here's what he's recommending. Again, a buy call on McLeod Russell, BF Utilities as well, a buy on L&T. Innocent Bank, he's got a sell on ITC and a sell on VIP Industries. Deepak Moni, he's got calls on Berger Paints. That is a stock that he likes. BF Utilities as well as a buy, and so is OBC.
Right, Ashwini, Mitesh, let's nail it down to one idea each. Ashwini, what is your top idea for the day?
I think I would go long on McLeod Russell.
Mitesh, if I don't give you the option to pick and choose McLeod Russell, what else would you like to choose?
No, I think I'll still, want to emphasize that point. I've talked about how the stock can go up to levels of 350, 380. I think that's the best idea for the time being in the short to medium term. Okay,
so that's the best idea from our technical experts. Go with McLeod Russell, or go for rather McLeod Russell. McLeod Russell on Tuesday appreciated on strong volumes. Even though the company came out with horrible set of numbers, markets men are of the view that tea as a commodity is in a medium-term bull market. McLeod Russell is a net exporter, and given the way how rupee has depreciated against the dollar on an absolute basis, the company has hit a jackpot. Valuations also are not all that demanding for McLeod Russell. The P multiple based on FY13 estimates, it's not even 15 times, which is rather reasonable. But the broader tone is that globally things are looking calm and quiet, and we could be in for a decent day of trade. That's about it. By any stretch of imagination, global problems are not over. The center of gravity has shifted from Greece to Spain. It could be Portugal next. So globally things are messy. Having said that, what could help the bulls today is the currency part. Rupee has appreciated against the dollar. Dollar index last night has retreated. In fact, the dollar index has corrected for the third day on the trot now, and euro also seems to be stabilizing against the dollar. So equity markets are dependent on currency markets. There is a very simple correlation there, and currency markets, thankfully for us, are looking stable. Do monitor State Bank of India. We've discussed this on a daily basis. That is the lead indicator. Capital good stocks, the capital good index this week has appreciated by about 4% plus. Whether it is short covering or sustained buying, we'll be able to figure it out in next 2 or 3 days. But some contra funds are nibbling into L&T and BHUL because they feel that if the economic cycle kickstarts in the second half of this year, these stocks are positioned very well for that. 35 points up for Nifty Spot, 43 points up for Nifty Spot. So we are in for a good gap up start. It is 4900 plus for the Nifty. Good to see that. 49